Welcome to the Parenting That Works, Parenting Component, session number 1. We are so excited to have you with us. We hope in the next 5 sessions we can give you some tips and strategies that can help improve your family life. As parents, we all have fears, we all have hopes and dreams for our children. And sometimes those fears outweigh our hopes and dreams. So what we're hoping to do is give you some practical strategies that make your dreams more likely and your fears less likely. Years ago, they did a study about crime, and when they interviewed hundreds and hundreds of criminals or inmates, they discovered there had 4 common themes. Either a lack of discipline, lack of supervision, a poor choice of friends growing up, or a lack of demonstrated love and affection when they were children. And what we're going to do in the next 5 sessions is work through some of these things in a positive way, so you can implement positive strategies to make sure that these 4 areas are being covered. And again, before we begin, we need to continue laying that foundation. There are 2 types of kids. You have compliant children and you have strong-willed children. Compliant children are the children that will basically do whatever you ask them to do. They're going to clean their room and not complain about it. If you ask them to fold laundry, they're going to fold the laundry. They're going to come home from school and start their homework, probably without being asked, because they know that's what's expected of them. And then you have the strong-willed child. The strong-willed child he's the edge pusher. He's going to ask why, or going to try to refuse to do it, or try to create a way out of it. Strong-willed children are those that, as we joke as parents, give us our gray hairs. So the best way to really address, especially our strong-willed kids, so our compliant children, they're going to do what we asked. We've got to figure out ways, for those of us who have strong-willed children, we've got to figure out a way to parent them, because parenting them requires a different strategy than parenting our non-compliant children. When we stated those 4 factors earlier that led to a life of crime, the last one we mentioned was the lack of demonstrated love and affection. We actually believe that is the single most important thing we as parents can do. And what makes that hard a lot of times, especially with our strong-willed kids, the madder we get, the harder it is to say, I love you. And the madder they get and the madder we are, neither one of us are saying, I love you. We say that less and less and less. And a lot of times in working with a lot of parents over the last 25 years, I've had parents, I've talked to parents about how do you demonstrate love and affection to your children. And a lot of times parents will give an example of one of their parental responsibilities. I remember insulted a grandmother one time who was raising her child because I asked her, how do you just demonstrate love and affection to your child, your grandchild that she was raising? And she responded, I cook for my grandchild. And she was totally shocked when I asked, are you a good cook? And her eyes go big, and I'm like, well, I've had some food that I'm not sure that was love and affection. And she was just shocked. But a lot of things that we do or we say is love and affection, our kids may not view it as love and affection. It's like, I love old black and white musicals. And if I sit down with my child and I said, hey, we're going to watch this old classic golden era musical. We're going to have a musical marathon today. She's not going to feel that as love and affection. Even though I'm trying to spend time with her, there's an ulterior motive there. At the same time, if I sat down with her and she's a huge Star Wars fan, and I said, hey, we're going to have a Star Wars marathon today. That's going to mean more to her because it's something that she enjoys, it's something that she connects with. But we need to figure out what are ways that we can convey love and affection that our kids will recognize as love and affection. And there are three that we feel fairly certain are easily recognizable. One is just verbally telling them that we love them. I love you. A second one are hugs and kisses, just signs of physical affection. And the third one, I've worked with many dads that have, or several dads, who really struggle to be that verbal I love you or physically affectionate. They love their children, it's just hard for them to communicate that way. Written notes. I had one dad tell me that he bought sticky notes, and he would write sticky notes, leave it on bathroom mirrors, leave it in textbooks. So when the child at school opens textbook, I love you, hope you have a great day today. Also left it on, if saw the child's car in the parking lot, left a sticky note on the driver's window and like in the school parking lot or Walmart parking lot or some other parking lot. That's one that lets the kid know my dad loves me. It also lets the kid know my dad knows where I'm at, especially if the kid doesn't supposed to be there. So we'll talk more about that in the upcoming sessions about active supervision. But it's important that every day we convey love and affection to our children. There's another factor that's probably the second most important thing we're going to talk about in the next 5 sessions, especially as it relates to strong-willed children, is the idea of influence versus control. As much as we would like to, the reality is we cannot control people. And a lot of times in talking with parents over the last 25 years, many parents have wrestled with that because they want to think that they can. But the reality is, if we're honest with ourselves, as we were growing up, there were things that we got away with that our parents never knew about, at least at the time. And in those moments, the question becomes, did they have control over us? And the reality is they didn't. As much as we would like to, we cannot control people. We can influence people, but we cannot control people. We can control the things in our house, the environment, but we cannot control people. The best way to influence children are through 3 strategies. One is, we call it positive strokes. It's compliments. It's catching your kid doing something right. You walked in the room, look at your child, what are you doing? I'm doing my homework. And you have not even asked your child to do their homework. Great job, I'm proud of you for doing that. That way it's over with and we don't have to worry about it later tonight. Good job. It's catching your kid doing those things right. It's walking in the room, wow, your room is really clean. Great job. Proud of you. Positive strokes are just simply catching our kids doing something right. And working with kids for a long time, kids usually complain to me that they only say something to me when I do something wrong. They never say anything to me when I'm doing something right. Positive strokes is doing that. The second is positive consequences. It's a reward. Now, positive consequences, we believe, are the most powerful method of changing behavior. Now, positive consequences, there are a few parents that always get nervous about positive consequences. Positive consequences are not bribes. When I was a kid, they used to have these little mechanical horses in front of Walmart and Kmart and all these department stores. And, I remember parents, mine sometimes, if you let you ride the horse. Here's a quarter, get on the horse. Now promise me you're going to be good in the store. That's a bribe. When you receive payment before you provide the work, it's a bribe. A positive consequence is you go to that department store. When you're leaving the department store, you look at your child, hey, you did a great job in there today. I tell you what, let's ride the horse. Since you've done such a great job today. I'm so proud of you. A positive consequence is a reward for work that's already been done. So it's like, getting back to that homework story, your child has never been big on homework. And it's like pulling teeth to make your child do homework. And you're always up later than you want to be up later with your child because you're having to work on this homework last minute. And you come home from work and you walk in the room and your child's already doing the homework. We said earlier you could do that with a positive stroke or a compliment. Good job, proud of you. Sometimes you may actually want to use a positive consequence for that, especially early on if it's a new behavior for your child. Hey, I'm so proud of you for doing your homework so early without being asked. Tell you what, we can stay up 30 minutes later tonight beyond your normal bedtime watching TV since you're working so hard on the front end of the night instead of the back end. So that's a positive consequence. And again, they are not bribes because the consequence comes after the work's been done or after the behavior's been shown. We do believe it is the single most powerful way to influence children. Then we have what most of us grew up with probably, and those are the negative consequences. We do something wrong and there's a negative consequence. We like to think in this particular model of parenting a little differently. Have you ever heard a parent, maybe you've done this before, get mad at a child for doing something? You're grounded. 6 months, no television. There's no way we're going to enforce that. You know, I get tickled at a story that a family I worked with, the parents got mad at their son and grounded him from his car for like 3 months. And again, we're going to follow through with this. Well, one afternoon, mom gets home from work. She's trying to get supper on. It's pouring down rain. She doesn't want to go out to the grocery store to get something that she realized she needed. So the first thing she did, she looked over her son. Here's $5. Go to the grocery store and buy this for me. You know, those outrageously lengthy groundings sound really good at first, but most of us lack the discipline to follow through. And with kids today, if you ground a kid from his cell phone, then he's going to be on his laptop messaging his friends on various social media platforms. You ground the kid from the laptop, he's got a computer in his pocket. He's going to be texting his friends. If you ground a kid from playing video games, he's going to go outside and shoot basketball. You ground him from the basketball, he's coming in to shoot play video games. So many kids today have so many different outlets that if we take one from them, they turn around and use their time, energy, and attention on another. We love to think about a different strategy in this model, and it's basically taking everything away for a short period of time. If you take Dr. Peppers away from me, and you say you can't have, a doctor tells me you can't have a Dr. Pepper for the next year, the first thing I want to do when I leave is go drink a Dr. Pepper. It's because there's no way I can make it a year. Because I love those. I love that drink, all 23 flavors of it. I love it. However, if a doctor tells me, hey, I need you, because of this test, I need you to go 24 to 48 hours without a Dr. Pepper. Well, I know I can have one in 72 hours. So that's more doable for me. Punishing our children are much the same way. If we take everything away from our children that they enjoy doing for a short period of time, then the child knows, as long as if I give my parent what they're requesting or what they're asking, I'm going to get my stuff back. So I'm going to comply because I can get my stuff back in a reasonable amount of time. If we take it away for a horrendously long time, then the child often thinks, especially the strong-willed child often thinks, I'm never going to get my stuff back, so I might as well do what I want to do anyway. So with negative consequences, taking everything away for a short period of time is something we really want you to think about. We're going to talk more about this in the upcoming sessions, but wanted to introduce the topic today. Anyways, thank you so much for participating in session number 1, and we look forward to seeing you in session number 2.